They were in a place where they wanted me to teach and they wanted to learn. So they were very passionate learners when I started the classroom. 25, 30 years down the lane, I would definitely want to see my kids as passionate learners that they right now are, and critical thinkers, problem solvers, and questioners, like children who do not accept or agree with anything that is said to them without a reason. So kids who very respectfully question a lot of things that they are asked to do, a lot of things that are going on in the community, who strive and look for innovative solutions. When we spoke to the 10th graders in the community, we understood that the children are doing well academically because there was a lot of rote learning. In our school, for the last 3 years, we've had 10% 10th standard results. But when I started questioning on, is that what I wanted? Did I want my kids to just write an exam and pass their 10th grade? Or was it something deeper that I wanted? I worked a lot on how to question relevant to the particular subject. So just training them or getting them to a place where they started questioning the right way, like asking the right questions to learn the right set of things. I think it drives a lot of independence, respect, and thinking through other shoes. So they're great thinkers, they're already there in terms of thinking, but I also think I need to work a lot on their speaking and listening skills and their literacy skills to get them to a place where they're able to very clearly articulate what are the questions they're asking and what are the answers that they want to share. There were a lot of kids who cannot independently read and understand what's going on. So the kids felt that to drive independence as a value, they broke down the textbooks into 2 easier levels by adding more pictures, by breaking down by breaking down words phonetically, by using simpler words instead of difficult words that are used in the textbook. So I think when that project, I mean, there were 11 children of mine who worked on that particular project, and when the textbooks came out, I think that was one point when I realized that it's definitely possible. And I mean, we're not far away from the vision. They didn't want to handle the dust with their hands, so they worked on an invertible dustbin. There were kids who worked on a chalk piece holder near the board because they felt I was moving and wasting too much time. I mean, with absolutely no push from my side, these are things that are automatically happening in my class. When we were in grade 5, I was the only teacher in the classroom. So when I moved to 6th grade, we started subject teaching. So that was a point that made me think about how my children are responding to another teacher. And it gave me very clear, I could pick up very clear clues on who are the kids who still need that reinforcement to ensure the sustainability holds up. It also told me about the different kids who still continue to learn no matter who is teaching them. So it was a testing point and also a very motivating point, because I saw 90% of my class on task, learning just like how they learn in my classroom, even when it comes to an extremely, a teacher who doesn't belong to a particular teaching style teaching them. I have a kid who cleared his Olympiad and who went to his 2nd level. And we've also presented one of our projects at the United Way competition. So there have been various instances, various situations where the children have come in and practiced and spoken to and interacted and competed with children of top performing schools. When we came to know, we came in the top 20 in the Design for Change project. The amount of effort the children had put in with absolutely no support from my side, and just how independently they drove the project. More than the end goal, the whole process where the children drove me at different points in time to get what they wanted, and the whole process where I saw them grow, independently work and think and push themselves was like, I was very proud of where I see them right now. The moment I started seeing impact, I think it was like an addiction. The whole motivation to find out what is it that I should do to see that impact on another child on another day. So I think that drives me on a day-to-day basis, and I strongly believe that every moment really matters. if I say something at this point in time in my classroom, I know, I've seen, I've felt that come alive at another point on another day. Lesson planning and execution. Those were the two main skills that I came into the classroom with. I want to find out the optimum number of skills that can be imparted to a child over a 40-minute lesson. I do a lot of case studies, I do a lot of group discussions, I do a lot of presentations. So I align a lot of bringing in all those external activities from my vision. I think project-based learning and integrated curriculum are two things that I picked up on the way that I keep up in the classroom right now. That definitely maximizes learning and values. So my first year was a lot about me and my classroom. It was in my second year that I started coming out. I tried and leveraged as many opportunities possible just to collaborate and work with other people. After working with children for 2 years, after working with the community for over 1.5 years, I strongly felt a need for positive parenting that was lacking in the community. We came across an NGO who works with setting up self-help groups in different parts of the city. So when we spoke to them, they said they were very keen to work on our community as well. So right now the parents have a session on tailoring or stitching and embroidery, and we're just integrating that with a parenting session so that the parents go home not only with a skill that we want them to learn, but also a skill that they want to learn, which has definitely maximized learning and interest in the parents. For me to be really successful by the end of the year is ensuring every child reaches his or her best potential. I have a couple of children with working memory loss. I have a child with special needs. After 2 years, I've had great impact on one child in my classroom, but I've still not had the same impact on another child in my classroom. I really am thinking about starting a school where all the children with special needs, children with regular needs, coming together and having same learning outcomes, with just the teachers working around their mode of teaching ensures the learning outcomes are the same from all children.